Students. Today we will discuss the histology of the small intestine. This is the second part of the lecture, and in this part we will discuss the histology of the uh, glands of the intestine and the differences in the various parts of the small intestine. Histological differences in various parts of the small intestine. So the histological structure of the intestinal glands, these are also known as crypts of Lieberkühn, and they are formed by the invagination of the epithelium into the lamina propria. The intestinal epithelium contains six types of cells: enterocytes or the absorptive cells, enterocytes or the absorptive cells, and the goblet cells, which we have covered in the previous lecture. Then the enteroendocrine cells, Paneth cells, and stem cells, and M cells. M cells. So sixth one is the M cells. So Paneth cells, these cells occur only in the bottom of the intestinal crypts, and they are pyramidal cells having the cytological characteristics of zymogen cells. So here you can see these are the pyramidal cells having the characteristics of zymogen cells, and they are located at the end of intestinal crypts or glands. The Paneth cells have now what are the characteristics of the zymogen granules? Zymogen granules secrete enzymes. Zymogen cells, they secrete enzymes. They are protein secreting cells. Now they have a strongly basophilic basal cytoplasm. You can see here the strongly basophilic basal cytoplasm and a large supranuclear Golgi complex, and the basal cytoplasm contains abundant rough endoplasmic reticulum for the synthesis of the proteins. The secretory granules of the Paneth cells contain the bactericidal agent, which is known as lysozyme. Digestive proteins called defensins, and zinc, and an arginine rich protein which is responsible for the intense acidophilia of the granules. So you can see these granules are appearing acidophilic in the apical part of the cells. So they contain the bactericidal agent, that is the lysozyme, defensive proteins called defensins, zinc, and arginine rich protein. The secretory product of Paneth cells has the ability to kill certain bacteria and protozoa, and therefore these cells play an important role in regulating the gut microbiota. Enteroendocrine cells. Now, the enteroendocrine cells present in the crypts of Lieberkühn of the small intestine also belong to the diffuse neuroendocrine system. The cells of neuroendocrine systems are present also in the stomach and in the large intestine and in the respiratory system. Now, they are present in the crypts of Lieberkühn, and the enteroendocrine cells of there are of many varieties producing different hormones, and they have been identified in the small intestine. The name of these cells and the hormones secreted by them are the S cells, they produce secretin; K cells, they produce gastrin, gastric inhibiting peptide; L cells, they secrete glucagon like peptides; I cells, they produce cholecystokinin; EC cells, they secrete serotonin and substance P; MO cells, they produce motilin; DI cells, they produce vasoactive intestinal peptides; and then the G cells, which are present in the proximal duodenum only, and they secrete the gastrin. Now all these hormones, they control the peristalsis, they control the regulation of secretions necessary for food digestion, and they also control the sense of being satiated after eating. And these all hormones, they act locally on the cells of the um, intestine. Of stem cells are of the intestine are undifferentiated cells. So number one, they are undifferentiated cells. Undifferentiated cells that are located in the lower half of the crypts of Lieberkühn. Now, these cells undergo regular mitotic division to produce more undifferentiated cells which move in the upward direction along the wall of the intestinal crypts to reach the epithelium covering the intestinal mucosal surface and intestinal villi. Now, as the newly produced undifferentiated epithelial cells move upwards, they differentiate into absorptive cells. Now, they can differentiate into absorptive cells. They can differentiate into goblet cells and the other components cells of the small intestine. Now, in this way, a constant turnover of all types of intestinal epithelial cells is ensured as the old epithelial cells are regularly replaced by new cells. And new cells, now it produces as a result of mitotic activity of the stem cells located in the lower parts of the crypts of Lieberkühn. Now the M cells. What are the M cells? These are also known as microfold cells. These cells are located in they are also called microfold cells. They constitute a special variety of epithelial cells in the small intestinal mucosa. The M cells are chiefly located in the ileum, where they are found in the epithelium overlying the Peyer's patches. Now, remember that these cells are present overlying the lymphoid follicles of the Peyer's patches, and they are only present in the ileum part of the small intestine. Now, when ordinary tissue sections are examined under light microscope, M cells, they appear broad, flat cells having dome-like apices. When examining under high magnification microscope, these cells show two important structural features. Their free surface exhibits microfolds and their basal plasma lemma is invaginated to form deep pockets or recesses. These recesses are occupied by the dendritic cells and the lymphocytes. So here you can see that these cells are appearing flat and dome shaped. Apical part is dome shaped, and the function of the M cells are they are the antigen presenting cells. They endocytose those antigens, those mostly bacteria that manage to reach the intestinal lumen and pass these on to the dendritic cells lying in the pockets on the undersurface of the M cells. The dendritic cells process the antigen and present it to the epitope to the neighboring helper T lymphocyte. And some of these dendritic cells come across the basal lamina and present the antigenic epitope to the helper T cells located in the lamina propria of the intestinal mucosa. So this is how these M cells they act in protecting the lumen of the small intestine. Here you can see the M cells in the lining of the ileum part of the small intestine. These are the M cells, and their basal surface they contain scaffoldings in which lie the dendritic cells and the lymphocytes. From the previous description, it is obvious that the three segments of the small intestine, the duodenum, jejunum, and ileum, have common structural features. But there are important regional differences by which microscopic sections of different segments of small intestine can be distinguished from each other. Now, the starting in the mucosa, the differences in the mucosal region of the small intestine, the epithelium is simple columnar epithelium with goblet cell, of course, in the all the three parts of the small intestine. But the goblet cells, they increase in number as we go down. So they are more in the jejunum, and more goblet cells as compared to the duodenum and jejunum are present in the ileum part of the small intestine. Now, lamina propria. Lamina propria contains glands. Lamina propria contains glands. Also, lamina propria of the duodenum, they and jejunum and ileum, they contain the glands known as the intestinal crypts. Now, the difference is the presence of the Peyer's patches in the lamina propria of the ileum and the M cells. So in the cells lining the gland, the M cells, they only lie in the ileum region. Then the muscularis mucosae, inner circular, outer longitudinal, it's the same throughout the all region of the small intestine. Then the surface modifications in the small intestine, the plica circularis, in it starts in the distal parts of the duodenum, and they are well developed in all jejunum, and in the proximal parts of the they are present in the proximal part of the ileum. So in the proximal part of the duodenum and the distal part of the ileum, they are absent, and they are well developed in all the length of the jejunum. Now, villi in the duodenum, they mostly bear tall and broad villi that appear leaf shaped in section, and however, some finger shaped villi are also present in the duodenum, while jejunum is characterized by a mixture of finger shaped this finger shaped villi, while the um, ileum in ileum, uh, the villi, they are short and broad, and there are sparse number of villi in the ileum part of the small intestine. Now here you can see the jejunum, the leaf-like. This is the mucosa of all the three regions of the small intestine, three parts of the small intestine. The first picture is the histological section of the duodenum. The first section is the histological section of the duodenum, mucosa of the duodenum. The second part is the mucosa of the jejunum, and third part is the mucosa of ileum. Now here you can see that the mucosa, it contains the leaf-like villi. Here you can see the leaf-like villi in the duodenum, while in jejunum the finger-like, while in the ileum they are broad and short, and they are less in number as compared to the duodenum and the jejunum. The plica circularis, here you can see that in the duodenum they are present in the distal part of the duodenum, and they start from the distal part of the duodenum, and they are less in number. They are widely spaced, but in jejunum you can see the circular folds of the plica circularis. They are closely spaced. Again, in the ileum you can see the although the plica circularis is present in the initial parts of the ileum, but they are also less in number and widely spaced. Differences in the mucosa, muscularis externa, and serosal regions of the small intestine. The mucus glands, the duodenum, the submucosa, how it differs. There are mucus glands in the duodenum of the mucosa. These are known as Brunner's glands. Now, no such type of glands are present in the jejunum and ileum. Now, question arises here: why the duodenum? It contains the mucus glands, that is the Brunner's glands, because of the acidic content coming from the stomach in the first part of the small intestine, that is the duodenum. So, more mucus is available here to neutralize the acid. And then the Peyer's patches, they lie in the lamina propria and may extend into the submucosa of the ileum. But again, they are absent in the duodenum and jejunum. So muscularis externa, it's the same throughout the three regions, that is inner circular and outer longitudinal layer of smooth muscles. Now, last layer or last part of the wall of the small intestine is the serosa or adventitia. Now, most parts of the small intestine, they are covered by serosa, that is, they are intraperitoneal, covered by the visceral layer of peritoneum. But some parts of the duodenum, they are covered by the adventitia. Major parts of the duodenum, they are covered by adventitia. Only some parts are covered by the peritoneum. Rest of the jejunum and ileum are covered by serosa. And what is the difference between serosa? Histological difference between serosa and adventitia is that serosa consists of the connective tissue plus the blood vessels, nerves, lymphatics, and a layer of mesothelium. While in the adventitia, the layer of mesothelium is absent. Now, here you can see the three parts of the small intestine. The differences are very obvious here. This is first diagram is of duodenum. This is duodenum. Second is jejunum, and third part is ileum. So here you can see the duodenum, the plica circularis is not so well developed. The jejunum plica circularis is well developed, and here you can see the villi in the duodenum are leaf-like, broad ones, finger-like in the jejunum mostly, and they are shorter and broader in the ileum part. Then the submucosa, here you can see this, okay, in ileum, the lamina propria is showing a prominent feature of presence of the aggregates of lymphatic nodules, that is the Peyer's patches. No Peyer's patches are present in the lamina propria of the jejunum and ileum, but isolated lymphatic nodules are also present here. So then comes the submucosa. So very obvious change here in the submucosa is the presence of the Brunner's glands in the duodenum. So no glands present in the submucosa of jejunum or in the submucosa of ileum. Next layer is the inner circular and outer longitudinal layer of the muscularis externa. This is same throughout the small intestine. And the outer layer, that is the serosa. So the jejunum and ileum, they contain the serosa, while serosa is present in very small areas of the duodenum. The rest is the adventitia. Now this is a picture showing the ileum. Here section of ileum, you can see the Peyer's patches. Now this is very important to recognize that Peyer's patches are only present at the anti-mesenteric border of the ileum. Now this is the mesentery. What is mesentery? This is the fold of peritoneum which is covering the organ here, like that. So this is the mesenteric border of the ileum, while this is the anti-mesenteric border of the ileum, and Peyer's patches are present only at the in the lamina propria of the anti-mesenteric border. Now, what is the significance of this? The when there is infection in the ileum, in case of typhoid fever, the perforation occurs at the anti-mesenteric border of the ileum. Bit how to draw the histological section of the this small intestine. So whenever you are drawing the section of the intestine, first of all make the layer of the muscularis mucosae. So muscularis mucosae consists of two or three layers of the smooth muscles. So we these multiple sections. Uh, the This is the longitudinal layer, and the above layer is the circular layer. So this is the muscularis mucosae, and then the make the muscularis externa layer here like that. So I'm making it somewhat rough to just to give you an idea that how you will draw it. So this is the circular layer and here is the longitudinal layer. I haven't drawn the nuclei. Please don't forget to draw them. I'm just giving you the idea to draw the section. So the longitudinal layer will be the section of the smooth muscles, multiple of multiple diameter. Some are large and some are small, and they contain the nuclei. So this is the longitudinal layer. I'm just giving you the sketch, the idea of how to draw. Now this is the muscularis mucosae layer. Muscularis mucosae. This will be the submucosa, and this is the muscularis externa. And next layer is the serosa or adventitia. So in case of serosa, just draw mesothelium, simple squamous epithelium in the end. So in order to draw the nucleus, I will, sorry, with the purple color. So, okay, I will draw some nuclei here in the smooth muscles also, so you can have the idea. Okay. Then you will draw the, here you can draw now blood vessels, larger blood vessels here, and also in the submucosa. So if you want to draw, for example, this is a section of the duodenum, you want to draw the Brunner's glands. They are the mucus secreting glands. They have got columnar cells, and the nuclei, the nuclei are flat and lying in the peripheral part of the cell. So this is how you will draw the, and you won't color it because they are they do they do not take stain because of the presence of mucus which is washed out. Now the now making the now you will make the mucosa, that is the lamina propria and the epithelium. So in case of the duodenum, you will make the leaf-like villi. Okay, so these are leaf-like villi you are making. So epithelium is on the upper surface of the villi, simple columnar epithelium with goblet cell. So some of these cells will be goblet cells. Now make sure that the goblet cells, you do not make goblet cells like this. The prominent, some students they make it prominent, and the apical surface it rises above the level of the enterocytes. No, they are of same height as the enterocyte, but their apical surface is empty, and the nucleus it lies in the basal part. So this is the broad leaf-like villi present in the duodenum. So how will you make in the duodenum? Okay, one mistake often the students make, they when they draw the villi, but they forget to make the intestinal glands, which are the invagination of the epithelium in the here. So please don't forget to make the intestinal glands in the lamina propria while making the villi. So this is little bit about the idea how to draw the section of the small intestine.
Now
I
you
hope it
completely understand
helps you.
the histological section of the small intestine and the regional differences between the different parts of the small intestine, the histological differences because of their specific functions. Thank you.